Hi, I'm back with some more Python tips, but I don't know if anyone will find them useful. The reason why I'm doing these tips is so I can declutter my brain, and then I'll be able to think about other more important things. So the first one is that, and that just shows that you can get a list of the keywords and the soft keywords, and you can just run it like that, and top lot of the keywords, and you can't use any of those as variable names and whatever. And then these soft keywords, you can actually use case and match as variable names, but it can make you very confused. So that is my first tip. Now my next tip is about unpacking items from lists and tuples. So there we've got animal names like that, and in a previous tips video I said you could do something like that, and what that does is it puts Frankie in cat, Sasha in dog, Trump in elephant, and then the underscore means, well, that's a kind of placeholder for Mr. Todd, and that's a placeholder for Zarafa, but I don't want them. And then Hugo goes into hippo. So if I just run that, yep, that works perfectly. So you don't need to bother about those at all. They are gone. Well, not gone from the list, but gone. And it was only when I was making a video on functions, when I was using things like star args and star quargs, that I remembered something else that I'd completely forgotten. So here, instead of underscore, you can have star something. You could call that anything: star others, star rubbish, star whatever. It's just the star that's important. And what that does, it takes Frankie and puts it in cat, Sasha in dog, then it says, ah yes, I've got others there. Is there anything at the end? And yes, you're working from the end, Hugo to hippo, or you could have more than one at the end. And it says, right, the ones I've got left over are Trump, Mr. Todd and Zarafa, and I'll shove them into a list called others, or whatever you've called the list. So that's what it does. Cat's called Frankie, dog's called Sasha, the hippo's called Hugo, and Trump, Mr. Todd and Zarafa are shoved in the list, which is, well, it might be exactly what you want to do. Right. You can also combine, and that you could actually put others at the end. I'll just show that. No, that wouldn't work. That would not work, because that doesn't want to be hippo, that wants to be elephant. You need to get your names right. Right, so then you've got your others at the end, and that works as well. No, what did I forget to do? What did I forget to do? Elephant. Stupid woman. Copy. Right, will that work? Yeah, there. It's unpacked Frankie, Sasha and Trump, and then it's just taken everything at the end and shoved it in that list of others. Now you can combine underscore and star at the same time. So there we have cat, dog, so it's Frankie the cat, Sasha the dog, Trump, don't want, and then there are others, think about that, you have to remember, and then you go to the end, oh yeah, Hugo goes into hippo. So what that would do is well, I'll show you what it will do. Right, Frankie the cat, Sasha the dog, Trump has been thrown away, which is very sad. Hugo has gone to the hippo, and the others, which you haven't mentioned, go there. So that's good. And you can even use this star whatever, star list name, even if you've used them all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 variables. Now you're asking for more than 6, so you think it might go wrong, but it doesn't. What it does, I haven't bothered to print out cat, dog, elephant, blah blah blah. It just gives you an empty list for others, which is quite handy. And you can do the same thing with it at the end. It doesn't care that it's used them all, and then you're asking for a list of the rest. Yeah, that works. Then, if you don't actually want that list, if you think, why am I putting everything in that list? I don't want the others in the list. You can combine underscore and star, like that. So you want cat, dog, and elephant, and then that star asterisk means you want to put everything else in a list and throw it away. So you've got Frankie the cat, Sasha the dog, Trump the elephant, then you're taking those 3 and you're throwing them away. Only cat, dog, elephant, yeah. Bit of a typo there. There, that will work, I hope. Yeah, Frankie the cat, dog, Sasha the dog, and Trump the elephant. And that's, oh no, the most useful thing. Sometimes when you have a list, you just want to get the first 2 or 3 items or whatever, and you don't know how long your list is. So this will take care of that. You say, right, I want the first 3 items. I have no idea how many items there are that I'm not interested in. So you unpack Frankie to cat, Sasha to dog, Trump to elephant, and you throw everything else away. Whoops. Obviously you don't do it quite like that. No, because I've got the wrong elephant. Right. That's better. Right, so you've got a cat, dog, elephant, and you throw away everything else. Yeah. And I think that's probably about the most useful thing of it, to be able to throw away the ones at the end. So that's that tip. Now my third and final tip is about item getter. Now item getter can be used on lists and tuples and dictionaries and I don't know what else. And what you do is from operator import item getter. Now item getter, I showed the slice object in a previous video, which is how you can create a slice of a list or whatever, and it means that you don't have to keep repeating yourself by going colon -1 or whatever. You can just put it in a slice, and then you can use it in different places in your program. So that means it's reusable, and item getter is reusable as well. And what you can do is, I've got a list of names, and normally what a lot of people might do is, if you want to select the first and last, you could do something like that. So you go selected equals names of naught, which is Peter, and names -1, which is the last one, which is Karen, which is the first and last, and you can just print it. So there we have it, Peter and Karen, first and last. But you can do this with an item getter. So there, this is, you create an item getter object called first and last, and you go item getter, and as opposed, you know, that's the naught for the first and the -1 for the last. And then you just go first and last, so you use your item getter on names. I'll get rid of that. There. And you can use that item getter that, on a different list or whatever. It's just whatever list you put in there, it will give it the first and the last. And you can do something, you can put whatever numbers you want in there, really. So this one, you might want the first, which is Peter, the last, which is Karen, and then 3, so 0, 1, 2, 3. So that ought to come out as Peter, Karen and Carter. Don't know why you'd want it like that. There you go, Peter, Karen and Carter. And so much easier if you're wanting to do that same selection on another list, or do that same selection multiple times with your program, then the item getter makes it look a lot better. But it will produce an error if the index is out of range. So if you put 5 there, so no list index out of range, so you may have to make provisions in your program that you don't do that. You could put it in a try except, or you could just check whether all the numbers there are within that range of indices. But you can also use this with a dictionary. So we'll get rid of that lot. Right, animals. It always has to be animals. Right, there's a dictionary. Cat is Frankie, dog is Sasha, guinea pig is Oscar. Well, he isn't because he's gone. My childhood guinea pig. And donkey called Dandy. And you can create an item getter for this as well. Slightly different. So it's called dog and guinea pig. They are the ones, as opposed to doing by index, you do it by key. So the key is dog and guinea pig, and that's why I called the item getter object dog and guinea pig. And there we go, you use that item getter on animals, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, dog and guinea pig of animals is Sasha and Oscar. Then you can, here's 2 more dictionaries. So we've got letters and letters too. So A, the key of A has a value of 100, B 200, C 300, D 400. And then in this dictionary, A is for apple, B is for banana, C is for etc. And you could create another item getter like that. So it's A and C equals item getter for A and C. So what you want really is, you want from that dictionary, you want that and that. and from that dictionary you want that and that. So I'm just showing that you can use one item getter for several dictionaries. So we're getting A and C from letters and A and C from letters too. And that works wonderfully. But what you have to be aware of, as with item getter on a list, which was also used for a tuple, if you gave it a dodgy index, it threw up an error. If you put in in a key that doesn't exist, like that, so I'll change that to A. Oh no, I can't be bothered anyway. So that is now not A and C, it's A and D. If you run that, I've got a D. I've got a D. I thought though I didn't have a D. How many do I? Oh, E. E. I'll try it with E. Oh, I'll call it with Z. I know I don't have a Z. Right, as before, when you gave it a dodgy index, it didn't like it, and if you give it a dodgy key, it doesn't like it either. So you have to make sure that doesn't happen. But it's quite useful. I don't know, I've never actually used item getter, but I will think of a way to use it. So that's my video.